Redman is back. Gateways. Forms of gateways. Gateways have a hierarchy which corresponds to the intersection points between our mind and others. There are 9 forms of gateways, 5 corresponding to our bodies and 4 corresponding to our minds. Below you will see the 5 spatial gateways. Onion. Spatial, voice, body posture, face, eyes, ears, and nose. Centered are the hands. These are the gateways which correspond to our bodies and how our bodies intersect with others in the intersubjective space. First is the gateway of spatial location. Individuals who exist in a similar point in space experience reality to some degree the same way. Spatial location includes both orientation in space and position in space and time. The closer one's orientation and position in space-time, the greater the overlap between two individuals' subjective experience of reality. Second is the voice. The voice expresses our emotion and through emphasis, meaning. It is through our voices that we express complex ideas and emotions to others. It is through our voice that we telegraph to the world how we feel, in general and specifically how we feel about what we and others have said. It reveals our inner architecture, the mood of our soul, the moralistic orientation of our personality. And the tension level in our bodies, which is also important. Third is body posture. Body posture reflects how we have oriented ourselves in space physically. It also has an expressive component by underscoring our emotional reactions, and through body language, both our conscious and unconscious emotional states. Fourth is the face, eyes, ears, and nose. This is the primary contact point between our expression and others. It is through our face that we express our emotions and our reaction. It is how we sense the world around us. Our eyes telegraph to the world what we are seeing, what our subjectivity is focused on. They also betray relevant human qualities such as attention. Fifth are the hands. The hand possesses utility both through the possession of objects and the expression of complex ideas and concepts. Our hands are carriers of emotional intention. Now, these basic 5 levels do not in and of themselves exist as gateways. Rather, they are the carriers of meaning and feeling, and through that agency produce gateways between minds. And one of them either A represents a feeling or B represents some coordinate of our experience, of our subjective reality at a given time. And in so doing, they represent the key mediums through which we are able to intersect with others in the intersubjective space. Now, there are also four additional gateways which correspond to the mind. These gateways relate to how we feel relative to ideas and concepts. This is important because a gateway can just as easily be created with an idea as it can with a physical object. I'll describe each in turn. First, emotional is the contact point between our minds and the spatial reality we experience. It corresponds to our bare emotional reaction to something, whether physical or intellectual. It has a basic vocabulary which corresponds to the emotions we all know. Second is the archetypal, which corresponds to the essential roles of human sociality, such as mother, father, sister, brother, uncle, as well as roles within a community, such as hunter, fisherman, shepherd. Roles within a social dynamic, such as joker, fool, clown, etc. There are many archetypes, but they are finite. Habe ich das schon mal gesagt mit dem schwarzen Schaf? Dass jeder Mensch kann sagen, ich bin das schwarze Schaf der Familie von irgendwas. Und jeder hat immer recht, wenn er das sagt. There are many archetypes, but they are finite. The bedrock of human sociality preserved by thousands of generations across society and cultures. Third, there is the symbolic. This corresponds to symbolic objects and reasoning. It also includes idealization of archetypes. Anything can be a symbol of something, but many are simply of opposing orientations. Onion. Emotional, archetypal, symbolic, esoteric. Finally, there's the esoteric, which incorporates the symbolic. The esoteric is the most important form of gateway because it permits one access to a different kind of reality. Once opened, it will be the subject of the next chapter. The esoteric gates. It is easy to see that human sociality is constructed upon the use of certain objects which have importance both socially and with regards to human survival. These are the tools that we have crafted over the many thousands of years since our consciousness developed to survive and communicate. It is easy to see that these basic tools, a fundamental vocabulary of inventions, represent something essential and meaningful for our species. But it's more than that. The esoteric gates are rare objects which have a higher significance because they have altered the engineering of sociality and ultimately directed the course of our experience of this reality. These objects have often throughout the centuries had symbolic, ritualistic and spiritual significance for a reason. Was für Objects? They represent the basic building blocks of human sociality, but more importantly, they have fundamentally changed the way we interact, what synchronicity results, and how we experience this reality. Also, I'll start with the most basic of inventions, the room. It can be a physical structure or a man-made invention. It can be a hut or a cave. It can be a building or church. A room is simply a place where two people can meet and share the same subjective experience. What do we have here on my desk? Also in diesem Licht sehe ich sehr komisch aus. Das sieht wirklich sehr komisch aus. Das ist noch zu heiß. Wir müssen mal gucken, ob da was anderes geht. Achso, warte mal, hier nämlich. Dieser Flex. Bisschen Twilight-mäßig. Aber besser, würde ich sagen. Oder ich mache, dass es hier durchkommt. Durch das Loch hier im Haus. Nein, das ist ja hässlich. Mut zur Hässlichkeit. We all know what a room is, regardless of culture or language or race. We all experience the same stream of reality once we enter that room. The only difference is a finite number of orientations and locations, a finite or exclusive capacity for human expression. Next, beyond the esoteric gate of the room is the esoteric gate of the door. A door represents an entry point into a room, a place through which one can transit from a spatial space of near unlimited subjectivity to one of limited subjectivity. Oh! Glas ist ein guter Wärmeleiter. A door may have capacity for 2, even 3, but at some point it ceases to be a door. A doorway is entrance point, a portal, a port through which exchange may occur, whether of ideas or objects. A doorway is a vantage point, an exit, a place of transit. Now that I've given you a few examples, let me explain the significance. These structures or inventions are built into the fundamental architecture of reality. We think that a doorway is just a physical object, but what is in fact is a structure embedded in our psyches. If one begins to see that a door and a room are nothing more than abstractions which are built into the architecture of the common mind, one can see that the physical constraints we impose upon them are in fact nothing more than constraints within our own minds. Imagine stepping through a doorway and traveling from a room in the US to a room in London. Imagine that sharing a room meant seeing through another's eyes. Imagine when entering a room and closing the door, the room on the other side doesn't even exist anymore. Opening the esoteric gateways means recognizing that we did not invent these things. We merely constructed something which existed and had esoteric significance before. Just as one builds a physical reality around oneself to manipulate one's experience, so too can one, using these self-same technologies, build a subjective stream of experience that defies objectivity. Also, das ist auf jeden Fall The Arrival of the Wanted. The limits of spatiality exist only in our minds. Created by our upside-down view of existence, the objective doesn't exist first. The subjective overrides the object. Part of opening the esoteric gates involves separating oneself from the intersubjective reality that we all accept as the basis of existence, for existence. Once one has distinguished one's bubble universe, it becomes possible to impose one's internal architecture upon the objective. A doorway may separate one room from the next, but is also the embodiment of an idea which, once understood, can open the mind to a whole new kind of subjective experience. I'll end this volume with a short list of esoteric technologies which must be incorporated into one. Ich weiß immer noch nicht, was die esoteric objects waren. Ach so, die Tür oder was? Was noch? Was sind noch esoteric objects? Telefon. Livestream Accessoires. Die Augen. Ein Brettspiel. Oder Koop-Spiele allgemein. Social Media. Musikinstrumente. Ein Spiegel. Short list of esoteric technologies which must be incorporated into one's understanding of glitching and reality to truly experience the potential of the mind. The room, the door, the road, the pen, the sword, the horn, the wreath, the wheel, the staff, the rope, etc. There are many more, but you will have to find them on your own. This is only an introduction. The rest is up to you. Splendid.